This is Tom Gola Arena in Philadelphia. It's the site for a Philly college hoops rivalry. St. Joseph's against LaSalle. This Atlantic 10 game takes place on a very special day to honor the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. Today, our nation honors and remembers Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights activist who became the most visible advocate for advancing our nation with peaceful demonstrations for equality. Today at LaSalle, the Explorers and St. Joseph's Hawks will play a rare Monday matinee in the A-10 in Dr. King's honor. And we're getting set for the 131st all-time meeting between St. Joe's and LaSalle. The next chapter in this great Philadelphia college hoops rivalry unfolds today. First of two matchups between the Hawks and Explorers in the regular season. And with that, we welcome you to the broadcast here on CBS Sports Network. Dave Ryan alongside the coach, Bob Wenzel. Big rivalry game we talked about. Of course, each team is hungry for a win, and it means so much playing on MLK Day as well.
Yeah, I think so. And these teams really collide. They know one another. Both teams are planting seeds. There are a lot of young players involved on both sides of the thing here, and that's why they have not won as many games as they typically would at this juncture of the year.
Time now for the AT&T 5G Fast Analysis. Talk about a freshman guard doing good good things for LaSalle.
Yeah, Jameel Brickus is his name. 5'11", 205 pounds. He's not a star kind of player. He's not going to dominate the game. He's going to be the smallest guy on the floor most of the time. But when he's in the game, they flow much better at the offensive end. 46 assists, only 26 turnovers.
And Bob St. Joe still without leading scorer and rebounder Ryan Daly. Hurt his left hand December 21st against Tennessee. They need him.
Yeah, and you know, he's one of the best scorers in the Atlantic 10 this year and would have been in the past as well. In his stead, Tyler Funk is going to have to take control of things. He's averaging 16 a game, big time against URI with 29 points earlier this year.
When we come back to Philly, it is game time in the A-10. A day to honor the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. The Hawks and Explorers go head-to-head. Lineups and tip on the way.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by AT&T 5G.
And now, let's meet your LaSalle Explorers. Starting at guard is 6'6", sophomore from Gap, Pennsylvania, number 3, Christian Ray. At guard, a 5'11" freshman from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, number 13, Jameel Brickus. At forward, a 6'8" junior from Neptune, New Jersey, number 24, Jared Kimbrough. At guard, a 6'6" senior from Suffolk, Virginia, number 2, Scott Spencer. And at guard, a 6'2" senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 1, David Beatty. Head coach of the Explorers in his third season is Ashley Howard, the associate head coach, Kyle Griffin, the assistant coaches, Donnie Carr, Jamal Robinson, director of basketball operations, John Cox.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. By Jeep. There's only one. And by Trulicity.
The Explorers have won the last 4 games head-to-head with the Hawks here at Tom Gola Arena, named for the LaSalle former player and coach and member of the Naismith Hall of Fame. St. Joe's, coached by Billy Lang, second year. He told us yesterday, as a guy from South Jersey whose parents and brother went to school on Hawk Hill, his vision to continue the great history at St. Joe's and one day be their own version of a Gonzaga or a Marquette, Villanova, a Butler. They try to get it going there for St. Joe's. Lineups today for his Hawks, still no Ryan Daly. Keep an eye on Jack Forrest, transfer from Columbia in the Ivy League. Had 19 points Tuesday in a loss at Davidson. LaSalle needs Jack Clark to have a big game today. Explosive high flyer, battled injuries for 2 years, finally healthy and ready to go. Explorers led by Ashley Howard, former Drexel player, many years experience coaching here in Philly at his alma mater, LaSalle. Great stretch at Villanova when his Wildcats won their 2 national championships under Jay Wright. He thinks his team's got to get older, more experienced, but he loves their potential and high ceiling. And here we go. It's St. Joe's and LaSalle head-to-head in the A-10.
LaSalle has no players averaging in double figures. 6 guys average between 9 and 7. We're going to need a scorecard to keep track because they're going to be frequent substitution for the Explorers in this game.
Schools only 6.5 miles apart. Success on the wing for Scott Spencer, the transfer from Clemson.
There are 2 seniors on the team. Spencer is one of them, and David Beatty is the other. Both transferred from schools in that state. Clemson for one and South Carolina for the other.
Roger Ayers, Mike Stevens, Amy Bonner, brought by officials today.
Little weave right here. They're trying to isolate Funk in the low post where he is the best player on the squad.
Lost it this time. Here's Beatty on the move. Team captain lays it in for two.
You know, I think some of the talk around the Salle this year has been Beatty and Spencer as seniors and transfers. They need those guys to step up a little bit, and they're getting off to a good start in this one.
Jordan Hall steps back himself, but can't hit from long range off the front. Knocked out by Hall. Really outstanding freshman for St. Joe's.
Yeah, he's a 6'7" guy who's quick-minded and can really pass the basketball. Beatty on the move. Not much resistance there when he gets close to the rim, so that was an easy one. Zone defense on the part of the Hawks. 1-2-2 variety.
Good ball movement. Unable to connect there with Christian Ray, the sophomore. And the takeaway for Forrest. Funky pump fake. Hall. Funk is free for three. And hits.
Nice movement. 5 guys touch the basketball. You get a wide open 3 by your best player. That's good offense.
23rd made 3 of the year for Funk to lead St. Joe's. 1 win this year. That was home against Albany. The runner for Ray is way short. Hall has the rebound. That game was supposed to be against St. Louis, but Slew on there shut down to Dakotas, couldn't make the trip. Hall had that one rejected by Kimbrough. Great defense in the half court from Jared Kimbrough, the junior. Tries to convert on both ends.
Size advantage on the switch. That's what you want to take advantage of when you see it.
8 points, 5 rebounds for Kimbrough, a season best in that loss in North Carolina at Belk Arena Tuesday against Davidson, the A-10.
I was talking to Billy Lang about their schedule. They start off the schedule playing against some of the top teams in the nation: Auburn, Kansas, Villanova, and Tennessee. So big money games for you guys, because that is not the way to start when you have a young group of guys. Right there, Bishop trying to get some things going for his team. There's Billy Lang, 6 years as an assistant coach for the 76ers. We asked him about how he liked the NBA, said he loved it. He told us a story about Dirk Nowitzki and Devin Harris and the sets they ran, and he was trying to run those sets with his team. And I mean, you talk about a great memory for detail. That guy is amazing.
It was so great talking to him yesterday. Enjoyed our time a lot. Runner on the baseline, just off the mark there from Brown, the sophomore.
Quickest with the basketball. When he's in the game, they get quality shots. When he's out of the game, they can get a little bit wild, too much on the bounce.
Spencer lost it. Forrest takes it back. Out for Jack Forrest.
Yeah, that's going to be a foul on the defense right there. Forrest, nice job. Transfer from Columbia. And as you know, in the Ivy League, they are not playing this year because of COVID. And right here, he does a terrific job of avoiding the foul, avoiding the charge. Watch how he steps to the side, knocks it in off the glass. Nicely done.
Jack Clark, redshirt sophomore, in. And Ray out. We told you about Clark's ability to take over a game.
Spencer out also. Here's the frequent substitutions I meant earlier. Clark is the leading scorer on the team, averaging 9.
Forrest completes a 3-point play. He averages 10 a game, and the Hawks have 3 players in double figures, but you talked about it with Sal. No double-figure scores. And Bob, going to those numbers, I've not seen that.
Yeah, and they use a lot of players, and that's partially the reason that they don't play as many minutes. Moore, number 21, is their best interior player. Transfer from Indiana. And right there, immediately, Clark gets on the scoreboard.
Clark, their leading scorer and leading rebounder, 5.5 points a game.
Look at that pass. That is a thing of beauty, my friend. Right there. Let's see if we can get Jordan Hall's pass right here. Hall is a 6'7" freshman, and he's quick-minded, but not fast. Watch this right here. I mean, that is terrific vision. Gets the ball to the weak side. Tracy's going to get to his opportunity at the free throw line.
One more here for Jadrian Tracy, freshman. who had been 13 of 15 for the free throw line until that miss. We talked earlier about Jordan Hall, coach. He's got a lot of potential, but really out of position this year with Daly out of his injury.
I think, you know, he's going to be a point guard for this team, but their team, everybody handles it. You know, everybody has the ball quite a bit. It's not a standard kind of thing where one guy doesn't handle, he just pounds the boards. I mean, each guy, like right here, you see different people bring the ball up on the press.
Positionless five, that's the way Jordan likes to describe it. Good cut, good pass. Forrest, another chance for and one for St. Joe's.
Hall is a facilitator. That's 2 possessions in a row where his vision really helped them get a good opportunity. Tracy at the free throw line and that layup. 10-9 visitors.
Chance for a three-point play for Forrest when we come back.
He was a revolutionary. What he did in his time was Martin Luther King was a revolutionary. What he did in his time was beyond impeccable. He made great strides for the black community, and I feel like today we need to take the next step so his word and his legacy doesn't die in vain. Because the things that he talked about and preached when he was alive are still prominent in today's society.
He stood up for equality for African American people, and he was a true leader, just bringing everybody together as one culture and standing up even though it wasn't tough, like every step of the way. No matter what the challenge is, he persevered and kept fighting to the end. And his legacy means one of unity and strength, bringing us together as one.
Great to hear the perspective of the student athletes from LaSalle. Scott Spencer, Clifton Moore, on what Martin Luther King Jr. means to them and to the players on the court here today. Forrest was fouled right before the break and completes another three-point play for St. Joe's.
First possession of full court pressure. Let's see if they break it and attack. 2 traps. Push it right here, and you get your shot. Nice recovery by St. Joseph's. I like that coming out of a timeout. Well done.
Good ball movement. There's Clark. Back on a miss from 10 feet.
Well, as a guy who went to Syracuse, I'm referring to you, my friend. They were 2 threes up.
You see a lot of that in Central New York. Told you, there's a cut and a layup for Tracy.
That is 3 great passes by that young man in your picture right there. Hall has been really good. His vision on the floor is really something to watch. Watch here, right? Head is up, looks one way, passes the other to a cutting player. That is really nice stuff.
St. Joe's leader in assists, 5.5 per game, and in steals, so he's really picked up production. The loss of Ryan Bailey, now with a hand injury.
55 assists, only 23 turnovers.
Not bad. There's more. The Indiana transfer of the jump hook and gets the ball.
They're looking for him to develop it, and Clifton Moore is a very good player, highly recruited, and went to Indiana, so that's big stuff, right? And but really, in a way, he hasn't played in a couple of years because at Indiana didn't play much. Transferred here, sat out. So this is his first game experience in a couple of years. Commissioner Howard's got to play him a lot of minutes and get him used to the flow.
Exactly the message we got from Ashley Howard talking to him yesterday. Longley is into the game returning for St. Joe's, a hand injury. Forrest is out. His words about Clifton Moore, he's got to get more playing time and more confidence because at Indiana he was not relied upon to be a key player.
Well, there's the matchup. Longpre is in to guard him. I think what happened was Billy Lang saw immediately that they were going to go inside, so got a bigger player in there to guard Moore. Longpre last year played an awful lot. This year limited because of the injury you mentioned on his left hand.
Sharif Kenny inbounds play to perfection for LaSalle.
They were supposed to switch, didn't.
Long miss, top of the key for 3. And Gill into the game also for LaSalle. Very deep bench. More baseline. Back on a miss.
Number 4, Sharif Kenny is in for LaSalle Explorers with 0 for 6 from 3 against Davidson. But he is not shy about launching, I can tell you that.
Long play from Quebec, Canada. The kick out. Turnaround jump, Bishop.
Nice. Very nice.
A transfer from Xavier. He had 14 points against Auburn, part of that gauntlet start for Billy Lang and St. Joe's to begin the year.
I'll tell you what, he had 14 and Taylor Funk had 28. Longpre makes his presence felt almost immediately. 6'10", 245.
He's a big dude. He's a space eater down there.
No doubt about it.
Played for the U20 national Canadian team, brought them a gold medal. Top deep shot, Bishop.
How about that? 31% from three-point range. Very good athlete. If you're recruited by Xavier, you can play.
Less than 2 points a game is one season at Xavier. Much bigger roles. Gill drives and scores for St. Joe Hawk. Big difference.
Gill only a freshman. 6'4", combo, tweener type guy.
He's had 4 starts. Lots of different lineups for each team. They try to settle on their starting
Dave, when you have lineups in high school, when you have lineups and frequent substitutions, it usually helps your defense because the energy is there. It usually hurts your offense because the chemistry isn't.
There's Gill again, back-to-back jacks on the wall.
And they're taking advantage of the middle of the 2-3 zone. St. Joseph's has been man-to-man, zone, press, a lot of different changing defenses to keep people off balance. But LaSalle so far playing better against the zone than they are against the man.
Long play. He'll drive reverse layup for 2. Yeah, one for the big guy from Canada.
Yeah, I think his presence is really going to be helpful to them. 22-17, the visitors are ahead, partially due to Longpre. He's had a block, he's had drives to the basket. How about this pretty one? Nicely done. Is that the
Hey,
athletic
Brian,
director?
how are you? It's Dave and Bob in Florida. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
You're okay? Great. Yeah, you're looking good. Thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Happy to do it.
We'll get to a few questions to you, and I'll ask you the first one, and Bob may jump in for a question, and play will kind of go on, so don't be surprised when they resume play, and you just don't worry about what happens in the court. We want to hear your words about this initiative.
Okay, for sure.
Great. Be with you very shortly here out of the commercial. Wish you were there in person to talk to you, but
Likewise. Next year, though. Next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Sure. Okay. Today we remember Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as an iconic American figure, purveyor of truth, justice, and inclusion. His unshakable belief in the goodness of humanity. He raised the bar of what to expect from our fellow Americans. Very pleased to be joined by LaSalle Athletic Director Brian Baptiste. And thanks for joining us, Brian, on this very special day. It's the first of two MLK Day games between LaSalle and St. Joe's, perhaps for many years to come. You're the co-chair of the A10 Commission on Racial Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion. What is the goal of that initiative?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. The goal of the commission is really to leverage the resources and the expertise of not only the conference, but the A10 membership. We really want to be able to find ways to bring meaningful and sustainable change, not only towards racial equity, diverse representation, but also inclusive environments on our campuses. And for us, it's really important to not only do that, through athletics, but also within our campus community as a whole.
Brian, the commission was formed in September. You're the co-chair with Duquesne President Kenneth Gormley. What kind of progress has been made since it started?
Well, I feel really good about the progress we've made thus far. We've had a kickoff event which was focused on the Ruling Rule, which was hosted by Duquesne, and President Gormley and his staff did an amazing job. For those that are interested, it's still up on the A10 website to be able to hear that dialogue, and it was a really important topic. For us, we've had a bunch of different sessions. We've created multiple subcommittees for us to be able to focus on, whether it's education and training, whether it's advocacy, activism, and action. We're also looking at accessibility and accountability as well too, and then really focusing on policies and practices as well too. And for us, we've also had some other groups. There's a coaches group, men's basketball coaches group that has started as well. It's called Connecting for Change. And so as you look throughout the conference, you see various teams wearing different shirts. I'm looking at St. Joe's right now. They have a shirt that talks about equality, and each one of the institutions picks a different shirt to be able to highlight. And what they're really trying to do is educate their student athletes, empower their student athletes, and help them evolve as well too.
Brian, how much are the players, student athletes, not just basketball, but the other sports in the Atlanta how are they involved in this initiative?
We were really intentional when we thought about the composition of the commission, and so each institution has 3 representatives. One is an administrator, one is either a current or a former student athlete, and the other one is a subject matter expert. And we felt it was really important to be able to have that student athlete perspective because they're living it each and every day, and we just felt that it was critical for us as we go through this really important work that we have their input, their perspective, and really their understanding as we work through the work that's really important as we're trying to achieve.
Joined by SJU Director Brian Baptiste. We appreciate his time. Brian, we spoke with both coaches yesterday, and they really wanted to push to play this game today. Usually the A10 plays Wednesday and Saturdays. What does it mean to have this MLK Day game?
I think it's more than basketball, right? It's an opportunity for us to bring the community together. When you think about Dr. King and everything that he stood for, and service and standing for the right things, whether it's love, compassion, unity, and for us to be able to have this opportunity, you know, it's a little bit different this year, right? Because we wanted to obviously do something in the community as well too. But just to be able to bring folks together, if it can inspire the next generation and be a beacon of hope for them, that's just really important. And so it's great to be able to see the brotherhood between the two teams and the solidarity and togetherness, and we look for this to be able to be an annual tradition moving forward.
Brian, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Great to talk with Brian Baptiste, the athletic director at LaSalle, talking about MLK Day and the importance of this occurrence. '28-21 game here at Gola Arena in Philadelphia. Dave Ryan, Bob Wenzel. While we were speaking with Brian Baptiste, the significance of today and what's happening in the Atlantic 10 and their great initiatives, what's been going on the court, Bob?
Well, St. Joseph's is executing offensively really, really well. They're getting quality shots every single trip. They're getting balance on the floor, and so things go rolling well for the visitors right now. LaSalle is doing a good job against the zone when St. Joe's goes zone, but less so against the man-to-man. Keep in mind now, St. Joseph's is 1-9 on the year, 0-4 in the league. LaSalle is 5-8 on the year, 2-4 in the Atlantic 10. Where it says A10 in the lane is where it has been open the last several possessions.
Clark to miss. Forrest has the rebound. He's had a really good first half for St. Joe's. 9 points on 3-3 shooting, Bob.
I'm sorry. LaSalle takes a ton of three-point shots in all of their games, and they're not great from that. And I think what Lang is trying to do is get them to shoot outside as his team's making some threes. But I think that would be a good strategy right now for St. Joe's to stay zone, leave the middle open, and right there he's been good in the zone so far in the game.
Take for Anwar Gill, a chance for a three-point play.
You know, everybody in basketball knows that in the 2-3 zone, the middle of the lane is where you want to get the ball. And sometimes the middle of the lane is a guy who can't score. So you let him catch it there and try to guard the perimeter. But sometimes a guy who gets the ball in there is a very good scorer, as Gill is. So when Gill catches the ball in the middle, they need to collapse on him.
Lefty freshman completes a three-point play.
That's Mike Stevens right there, the official on the end line. He is one of my favorite officials in all of college basketball. We ran into the airport all the time. I think he owes me a couple of hamburgers.
At least a couple.
The press from LaSalle working several times in a row. St. Joseph's looks a little bit disorganized right now against the full court pressure. Turnovers working right now.
Third miscue, first half against the Hawks here.
Both teams using changing defenses. Both coaches had been in their backgrounds, Villanova with Jay Wright. So some of Jay Wright's philosophies present for both of these teams.
Gillitain kicks out for Spencer, transfer from Clemson. Kimbrough, the overplay forced. Almost causes the turnover. Regained by Spencer. Good pass, but Ray can't finish.
Him on the offensive glass, huh? Very athletic player.
Take away, LaSalle. Kimbrough, the track down, and avoids the turnover.
He's getting sloppy. 3 turnovers in a row by the Hawks.
Ricketts for 3, a back iron miss. Long range. Has the rebound. Top of the key.
He wants to slow it down. He wants to get a quality shot, which they've not been.
St. Joe shooting lights out 11-16 in the first half, 69%. Funk has not been a huge factor, trying to change that. Missed almost all last season. Very similar throws that one away to Demir Bishop. And it's turned back over to
that play right there is just, I mean, he's trying to make a nice play. And there's Daly with the orange on his left wrist. And guys are trying to make plays that they can't play. And they're making poor mental plays right now. Wanting to win, no doubt about that. Intensely, no doubt about that. But I mean, plays like this where the ball's all over the floor, errant passes, that's not what you want.
Instead, it's a double dribble. It's going to dribble to handle. And each team is getting scattered left and right, trying to get things going.
They need a timeout. Let's get organized, fellas.
Join our NFL experts as they break down all this week's game, get you ready for the conference championship weekend, and give their latest analysis from a quarterback's point of view. Watch NFL Monday QB next on CBS Sports Network. Chiefs, Bills, Bucks, Packers coming up. This alma mater of one, Bill Raftery. Played for LaSalle in the 1960s. NBA draft pick 1963 by the New York Knicks.
He was a good player, there's no doubt about that. And, man to man!
The kiss! Raf has a presence here at LaSalle, always, right?
Everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. So let's see if we can get some of the sloppiness out of this game right now. 7:41 to go in the first half. Pretty good offense by both teams, 31-26. As you can see, last 5 possessions for St. Joseph's have been turnovers.
Not good.
And that's bringing the defense. I mean, you got to give some credit to Salle, too. I mean, they pressed 3 times, got the turnover.
Forrest, the Columbia transfer from the Ivy League with a nice take for 2.
His instinct is to take it hard to the basket. He's a pretty thick, muscular guy. So far, he's been able to muscle his way into the lane.
14 points, lead all scores, perfect in the field. Whoa, Gill is not perfect on that shot. It's way off. Kimbrough rebound to tie up. Possession error of St. Joseph's.
That's the first bad play that Gill has made. He's been pretty reliable in the lane. The lefty misses the rim on this one, but Kimbrough hustles. The Hawks all around him. Full court pressure. See if they can go long, maybe.
Forrest coming off a big game at Davidson on Tuesday. 19 points and 4 threes.
See, that pass by Hall is a little casual. You know, I mean, right there, he doesn't come to the ball either. And you know, some fundamentals that freshmen don't have yet. When the ball is in the air, Billy Lang's going to teach him about that. You come and meet the ball, and don't stand in one spot like a statue, because there'll be somebody getting that steal.
Bishop off on the left-handed drive. Something Ashley Howard told us yesterday. The LaSalle head coach, we're trying to get older, more experienced, but it's tough when you have a young team and it goes on each side, especially without Daly. You're trying to learn on the fly. That's what each coach talked about to us yesterday, and Now you're in the thick of the A-10 race, and by the way, you're playing a rival from Philly.
Think about the A-10. I mean, we got St. Louis that's been on pause, but they, I think, are the best team. Jordan, Goodwin, Hassan, French, Perkins, all of these players. I mean, they're really, really good. And Richmond, of course, has made headlines with their early season, and yet they got beat by Bonnie's. And the surprise so far is VCU. I mean, VCU is playing terrific this year, and they were not supposed to. I've got to play plenty of teams that have much more experience than the two we're seeing here today.
Great at Kimbrough, Bob, for the hammer dunk, and a 9-2 run now for the Explorers to pull to within 3.
Like they're stick-to-it this, right? They got down, and when they got down, Ashley Harris called timeout, and they got more aggressive in both the man-to-man and the press.
Ray says no, and Kimbrough, two guys with a rejection of Demir Bishop's drive to the basket.
Yeah, it's funny, because there's no fans here. An intense rivalry like this would be, the fans would be going crazy with all of these momentum switches. It would be awesome.
What a job by Ray to gather and somehow shoot a score in transition, and one for LaSalle. And Clifton Moore on the Explorer bench is pumped. I'm not sure how he found the handle and still got the shot off.
Yeah, pretty good, huh? Let's take a look. Just some strength, right? You know, that's a little weight room action there.
Heavy traffic there. Heavy.
Yes.
Game for Hall and the Hawks on the top. Freshman to the 10 can't hit, but there's Funk in the following two.
Those two guys played terrific the other day, and they lost to Davidson. Davidson has played both of these two teams their last games, and Davidson pounded it to them both. Davidson was a strong team in this league, especially on offense.
Spencer deep three. Another turnover. Brickhouse. Dump it away. Rejected from Salle. Jameer Brickus with the hammer. And a timeout called by Billy Lang and St. Joe's. Breaking the action. Things are fun to watch at Goal Arena today.
Show you what happens when a man does not come to meet the pass when it's thrown to him. The press, the pass. Bishop just waiting for the ball, and Brickus just slides in between. If Bishop went to the ball, Brickus would have had to foul him, or it would have been a completed pass. They have done that 3 or 4 times in the game, not just lack of experience.
Other end for Forrest for another. Continues the perfect game. Jack Forrest has hit all 6 of his shots, including 3 threes, and has 17 in the first half. Goodness. Career best came in the Ivy League, 23 against Cornell when he played for the Columbia Lions. Threatening that in the first half here today. Miss Hall. The rebound on the run. Bishop can't hit. Deep corner 3 attempt.
Brickus in the game. They're smoother. This young man is only a freshman, 5'11", 200 pounds. A good thinker out there on the floor at the offensive end. Look at him directed traffic right here. He wanted somebody on the high post, but this is man, it's not zone.
Kimbrough the tape.
He's an impactful guy. I think he's going to get better and better as the season rolls on, and they need an interior presence anytime that Moore gets in foul trouble. So Kimbrough and Moore as the 5 on this team is what's going to happen going forward.
Whistle stops play. As the owner told us yesterday, Joe Kimbrough really offers a lot of energy on the floor. A good leader as well.
Rickus, anticipate. Go to the goal. Smallest guy on the floor, making a big play.
These teams picked 12th and 13th in the A10 of 14 teams preseason, but they are playing tremendous basketball here today. A lot of fireworks at Gold Arena. Let's take a look at the Jeep AP top 10 here, Bob, and we know that Iowa, so many Big Ten teams playing well, but you love Gonzaga's offense.
They're the best team, and I mean, they are so experienced. They score coming right out of the locker room. I mean, they are awesome. Villanova's been on a little bit of a pause, but they're going to play Seton Hall tomorrow. And Iowa, you love them. You grew up out there, and they are terrific, and Luka Garza is wonderful. Michigan, surprisingly where they are, only lost one game to Minnesota the other day. So heavy Big Ten representation in the top 10. They're the best league.
Man, all set. Showdown, Big 12, Kansas Baylor tonight. That'll be a fun one to watch. Foul call on the rebound. Missed there from Douglas. 17 fouls.
Ray started out the game very aggressive offensively, and been absent the rest of the time, but that hasn't been a bad thing for them because other players getting involved, and of course Forrest especially. So he's very content to play a different role, blend in. Gave you a shot of Daly before. Daly, of course, averaged 20 points a game last year. There he is, Ryan Daly, 6'5", 225. Trying to do a little coaching.
He's coaching him up now, isn't he?
Yeah, indeed.
Funk one more free throw. Had the same exact injury that Daly has now. But Funk last year elected, as he told us yesterday on a Zoom call, to have the surgery. So he missed basically all of last season. Homeschooled throughout his entire schooling, Taylor Funk. Really nice kid to talk to yesterday about his upbringing, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And he said socially, it was great. I did all my work early, my homework at home. Then I go to the high school early, kind of walk around, say hi to some of the teachers. He played on his public school team, but learned at home. Had a personal trainer. His dad played college basketball, so he learned a lot playing at rec leagues with his dad growing up in Lancaster. Worked out pretty well for him. Good player.
Sharif Kenny, number 4, is not taking a shot, I think, in the game, and he is usually, I mean, high usage offensive player.
Great weak side rebound. Step in for two.
Strength by Ray in this game that we've seen in the last couple of minutes. That is his primary asset.
Hall on the other end. Return pass for Hall. Pick it off. 3-ball. Come out and miss this time.
Solid defense by the Explorers last couple of possessions, and that's why they have retained the lead by 1.
points a game, as Bob talked about, has been quiet. On cue to handle. Free throw line pass to Gill. Under 10 to shoot. Gill can roll a two-man game, 5 to shoot. Here's the lefty knifing through traffic. The shot is not close. Stick to the left. He is taking 2 shots. Nice pass and a finish for St. Joe's. That was pretty. Ramir Moore, sophomore guard, has got his first bucket of the game. Takeaway for Hall.
I think the ball in Hall's hands is a requirement for St. Joseph's to be at their top efficiency on the offensive end.
More sophomore from here in Philly. Forced to the foul, try to change that. F squared. But Funk can't finish on the runner in the paint. Here's Ray on the move. More strength to the basket, this time miss with the right. Kenny the take. Haynes can't hit, but he is fouled. Stay tuned. When we get to halftime, we'll send you the rest over to Gary Parrish, our college basketball insider. Back in our New York studio, let's Bob recap the first half here at Tom Gold Arena. All that is all coming up on AT&T 5G at the half.
No, Kenny is a very interesting situation right here. Okay, he's a guy who takes an awful lot of shots for the entire season, but in the last game, he's 0 for 6 from 3 against Davidson. And in this game, he has passed up a bunch of threes that he normally would take. And I think this is a good learning curve situation for Kenny. And right here, he has been productive as a passer in the game. Right there, he had a 3 and faked it, and took the ball to the basket and got the foul. And that's what you do when you're in a situation where you're not shooting the ball well. You try to score in some other ways, and he's perfectly capable of doing that. He is a strong young player.
Sophomore from Washington, D.C. He's got 4 points today. And a big game in that win at Dayton. 12 points in the second half and 14 for the game. It was the first LaSalle win at UD Arena in 21 years.
Yeah, that's a big, big win for them. And of course, Dayton has Jalen Crutcher, who's one of my favorite players of all of college basketball. Last year, I mean, he was fantastic. This year, he's even better. Taking on more of a scoring role.
Here's Hall to take over Moore. Not quite this time on the runner with the right. Clifton Moore, Indiana transfer. Kick out Spencer. Transfer. A deep shot.
Transfer to transfer. Deposit that thing in the net. Nicely done. Inside, outside. 3 for 5 from downtown now for the Explorers, and that is well below their average number of shots from the arc. Way below it.
Moore had that rejected kill. Gets a roll.
He's good in the lane, isn't he? And occasionally he's thrown off the
right back to LaSalle. Much to the chagrin of Billy Lang and Ryan Daly doing the best he can to coach up his team. Billy Lang told us yesterday he hopes to have Ryan Daly back in the lineup sometime in January, but the cast is still on that left hand. Hurt on December 21st in Knoxville against Tennessee. Be great to have him back, no question. Butler to Paul, Colorado State, Utah State tomorrow. Presented by Ace Hardware. More college basketball coming your way here on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Bob will have the call in the Mountain West for this one from Logan. Bob, this should be a tremendous matchup.
Unbelievable. Utah State has won 10 straight games. Colorado State has a guard named Isaiah Stevens, who is really, really good. And of course, Utah State has Keita, who is a 7-foot player who has been dominant in this stretch right here. Right now, Palm has 4 teams from the Mountain West in his projected field for the NCAA tournament. And those are 2 of them: Utah State, Colorado State, Boise State, and San Diego State.
How fun was our Zoom call with Craig Smith today, Utah State head coach? Wow. Talk about energy.
He is a funny dude.
He's fantastic. 20.8 seconds left first half here. And the shot clock turned off for Jameer Brickus and LaSalle.
LaSalle has taken the lead on aggressive defense and more quality shots.
Bishop, and that is it for the opening 20 from Goal Arena on the LaSalle campus here in Philly. AT&T 5G at the half is coming up. Very special Martin Luther King Jr. Day matchup in the A-10, and LaSalle by 6 over St. Joe's. All Philly college rivalry. Welcome back to AT&T 5G at the half. LaSalle closes out the first half on a 27-11 run to take a 6-point lead on Philly rival St. Joe's. Anwar Gill, Jared Kimbrough, double figures for the Explorers. Jack Forrest was incredible in the first half, 17 points on 6 of 6 shooting for the Hawks. Welcome back to the broadcast here on CBS Sports Network. Dave Ryan alongside the coach Bob Wenzel on such an important day, MLK Day, for these two teams to go head-to-head. The Philly rivalry is equally important. We're seeing some fireworks on the court. A lot of scoring in that opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it was fun, that's for sure. It was sloppy in the middle, but they want to win. And so sometimes when there's youthful teams involved, they go hard and they go extra hard, or they go too hard,
right.
You know. But everybody's trying to do their best out there right now, and I think it's been a very entertaining half. For LaSalle, they have the lead. They're the home team. They took advantage in the middle against the zone, and Kimbrough did a good job off the bench, taking the ball hard to the basket. Right here, he's involved again in that play. Passing the ball around on the perimeter, getting the ball inside, and that is a high-low play, which is beautiful. And right here, LaSalle's press was very, very effective, and St. Joseph's did a not good job of being in the right place at the right time. Gill was effective in the lane as well, so he and Kimbrough did a good job. Jack Forrest, on the other hand, the transfer from Columbia, was perfect. Moving without the ball, knocking in threes. Using his strength as a grad transfer, getting the ball involved on all sides of the floor. Kimbrough, nice little soft touch on a friendly rim right there. So Forrest, from deep, a perfect half for him. 17 points on 6 of 6, and 3 of 3 from deep, and 2 of 2 at the free throw line for Jack Forrest.
He played at Columbia 25 games, scored 9 points a game. 17 in the first half for Jack Forrest for St. Joe's, trying for their second win of the season against Philadelphia rival LaSalle.
Thank you for watching AT&T at the half.
All right, Bob, first half numbers. LaSalle shoots 42% from the field heading into this game today. 57 in the first half, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, both teams, right? When you're over 50%, and especially with these two teams. So that's fantastic. The three-point shooting has been very, very good. And Hawks got to the free throw line. turnovers have been a little bit of an issue for them. So a very, very intensely played game. Lots of offense, which is great to watch. Gill had 11, Kimbrough 10, and Spencer had 9. So typical of LaSalle basketball, a lot of equality among the scorers.
St. Joe shoots 40% heading into this game and 52% in a sizzling first half, 15-29 shooting. As you see the leading scorers without Ryan Daly, the broken left hand, suffered against Tennessee just before Christmas. Sometime this month, Billy Lang hopes to have his leading scorer and rebounder, the leading scorer in the A-10 Bob from last year, back in the Hawk lineup.
Yeah, he averaged over 20 last year, and that's a big, big deal, of course. And they have been without him, and they're kind of getting used to playing without him. But having him back will be very, very important for their development as the Atlantic 10 season rolls along. And I think one thing that has to happen right here is Taylor Funk has to get a little bit more involved. I mean, right at the beginning of the game, they went to him, they were thinking about him, they were getting the ball to him, and then as the game wore on, when it got in that sloppy phase, he was just not involved at all. And of course, Forrest took up the slack. But I think for St. Joe's to get a little upset here, both of them have to be much, much more involved offensively with touches, and especially Funk.
Funk has double figures, Bob, 9 of 10 games and 8 straight, and pretty quiet in that opening half. He told us yesterday, a big Duncan Robinson fan who can shoot threes anytime, any place in the NBA. And we'll see if Funk can get loose a little bit from beyond the arc in half number 2. Underway here from Goal Arena in Philly.
Changing defense, calling card for St. Joseph so far.
Kimbrough for Spencer. Short on 3 track. Long rebound. Another crack at it for Beatty for 2.
He sat on the bench for most of the half, and he's one of their more experienced players.
Cameron Brown is shut down on the way to the basket.
Well, Kimbrough, because he played so well in the first half, is starting in the second half, and he's in there. Beatty on the move, pretty powerful guard. Not much resistance in the lane.
Started all game so far for LaSalle and a team captain. Mr. Howard told us yesterday, a great leader. And they need that. In a rivalry game today, Hall spins and can't get the roll. A battle, Bishop in the paint, comes away to Ray. A little bit of 1-2 for LaSalle. Open 3. Missed this time, long range from Spencer. Can Forrest stay perfect? Lost his footing, lost the handle. Ray to lose change for Spencer. Behind Beatty though, turn right back over to St. Joe's. Here's Funk. He's passing to Bishop. He misses! Couldn't dunk it, couldn't lay it in, and couldn't make it. And it's right back to LaSalle. Yikes.
There's Brickus, number 13. He's calming them down here. He understands exactly what the yikes is all about. And well done here. Get it to Kimbrough, who's been in the first half. He has been excellent inside. Nice smart basketball by the Explorers. And give Brickus some credit there. I think they need him in the game a lot.
A dozen for Kimbrough. Forrest spins, hangs. Feeding to Funk, but he was not expecting the pass, and it's turned right back over. Kimbrough averages 3 points a game. Been a big factor. Kicking out this time to Beatty.
Love it.
Look at the ball moving. Here's Brickus. Behind the back pass, Kimbrough! There's your highlight. And a chance for a 3-point play. That was sweet.
This is what I'm talking about with Brickus. When he's in the game, I mean, this is beautiful, obviously, and difficult. But when he's in the game, guys get quality shots. And Kimbrough, he understands, is really playing well in this game, and get him the ball.
14 points for Kimbrough on 7 of 8 shooting, along with 4 rebounds for LaSalle. A bust-out game, but he can't complete the 3-point play.
Kimbrough only averages 3 points a game.
Isn't that something? Overplay, steal, Beatty. And gets him a chance for a 3-point play. You heard the Salle bench with Anwar Gill. And one, please. He'll get it. And he heads to the free throw line.
Big smiles all around on the bench and the guys on the floor as well. Beatty on the steal, coming into your living room.
That ball hung out the rim, had a sandwich, did it before it dropped through, and Beatty cannot complete the three-point play. Long prayed the rebound, and St. Joe's scoreless in the second half, trying to get things going here.
Well, they're turning the ball over, and they did that for a stretch in the first half as well, and now they take a bad shot on top of that. So a little discombobulated at the moment are the Hawks.
Beatty out muscles Tracy for the Rock. 15-0 over the last 4, 17 and counting. Look at the run for the Explorers. Exploding. Ray, Kimbrough's left alone. He'll take it from 10 and hit. Why not?
I'll tell you what, man, that need to tell you, because Kimbrough is on fire, and his teammates are doing a great job getting him the ball. When the guy is hot, get him the ball inside. 58-42.
Over about the last 13 minutes of this game, a 26-point turnaround for the hosting Explorers here at Gola Arena, and they are up big. Tonight at 9 Eastern, we drop the puck. Another NCHC showdown. Number 3, North Dakota takes on 19th ranked Denver. Catch it all right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. St. Joe's Bob has missed 10 of its last 11, scoreless in the last 5 minutes, 12 seconds, and counting here.
When you get behind by this many points, typically what you want to do is increase pressure defense. But St. Joseph's, personnel-wise, is not a really quick team, so it's hard for them to do that. And if they do that, they could open things up more. The problem with them is this kind of stuff. And they use that term, stuff. They are very careless with the basketball. Lots of turnovers leading to easy baskets right now from LaSalle.
Another steal, another turnover, and another dunk for Kimbrough, who has a new career high already with 16, 10, and counting to go in the second half. He's got 18. Finally, Bishop drives and scores, or make that Cameron Brown, and the first bucket of the second half for St. Joe's here.
Yeah, and Cameron Brown hasn't been much mentioned in this game. He averages nearly 9 points a game and hasn't had much opportunity in this one.
Kimbrough's fantastic game. Trying to continue that. Has two more. Jared Kimbrough has come to play today for LaSalle. Give him a new career high with 20 points on 10 of 11 shooting. Man, what a game. Lamir Moore, the handle for the Hawks. In the paint, needs a kick out for Hall. 10 to shoot. Here's Moore thinking three ball.
When you're down deep, offense doesn't do it. You can trade baskets all day long and you're going to lose by 15 to 20 points. So this is the end where St. Joseph's has to dig in a little bit more. And if you're not going to press and go after people and trap and do things like that, and here they tried the trap, but they're not quick enough to recover. And that's what opens up the floor for LaSalle. So they got to play compact, stay between your man and the basket, try to play more compact defense and make them miss. That's their formula for getting back in the game.
Really good half-court defense effort that time from St. Joe's. The three is way short.
Kimbrough on the move. Unstoppable so far.
Series goes back to 1933, 1934. This Philly area college rivalry. Campus is only 6.5 miles apart. It's all LaSalle. Bob, second half as we take the AT&T 5G Fast Analysis again.
Well, Gill and Spencer have 20 points between them, and they're doing a good job off the bench. And Brickus, who we featured early, you can't measure his value in points and rebounds and steals and statistics. When he's in the game, things go better for LaSalle. When he's in the game, they play less selfishly, they move the ball better, and they get the ball to the guys who should have it. And Kimbrough, of course, has been on fire in the second half. No double teaming. And if you don't double team him, clearly he has proven he is going to score on all of your big men. A career game for Kimbrough. He averages 3, and he's north of 20 right now. And that is Gill, the freshman. He's a terrific, terrific player. Kimbrough, both of them on the bench right now. 20 points, 10 of 11, as you mentioned.
10 of 11. That's shooting.
That's a big deal.
His high this year, Bob, had been 8 points in that loss at Davidson in the last game for LaSalle. His only double-figure scoring game of the year. He has been something today, and it's all Explorers in the second half, up 15. Long praise pass, the overplay, and another steal.
Funk is not in the game. Long praise about Funk. You know, we saw his wrist all taped up. And before the game, before we came on the air, our cameras were showing him, you know, trying to get himself ready for the game. And he had tape all over his body. So I'm not sure if he is feeling up to 100%, and maybe he's banged up a little bit. But he has not been a factor. He's their leading scorer at 16 in a game.
Tracy had that bucket for St. Joe's. Here's Ray floating and
And here he is. There is Taylor Funk. And look at all of that tape on his arm, his left arm and his left wrist. And he is going to come back in the game. And really no resistance defensively by St. Joe's at this juncture in the game. I mean, LaSalle's getting everything they want.
Nice handle over Moore and lays it in. We spoke yesterday with Taylor Funk on a Zoom call. He said it was his right wrist that he broke last year. Same injury as Ryan Daly, had the surgery and missed basically the whole season. This is his left wrist. Or thumb is bothering him clearly, and he's not 100% today. Here's Moore on the bounce. Offensive glass and lost a hand.
You know, you look at LaSalle and what Coach Howard has done. Up until this point in the season, he has played a ton of guys and have played, as we mentioned, no double-figure scorers. And I think what's happened to them is those guys are starting to develop some confidence. And in this game, of course, they're not playing one of the best teams in the league, but they're feeling a little bit more confident, and they're not shooting as many threes as they typically do. So a little bit better balance with inside and outside play for LaSalle right now. And Kimbrough, of course, is a big deal, and Gill also is a big deal. I mean, he can get to the paint and score.
Brown scores other end for St. Joe's. Here's Beatty with under 10 to shoot. Baseline for LaSalle, double team. Tracks it down the corner for Ray. Some contact, Longpre the foul, and Ray to the free throw line.
Everything going to the basket for Ashley Howard's group, and it is proving effective.
He's very concerned about taking on Hall and Funk today. In our chat with Coach Howard yesterday in his third year, a former Villanova assistant, we told you about the long tradition of playing and coaching in Philadelphia.
Well, both of these coaches, both Howard and Lang, spent time at Villanova and as assistant coaches to Jay Wright. And of course, Jay Wright has dominated the Philadelphia basketball scene for quite a long time now at Villanova. Several national championships, of course, and they learned from him strategy, tactics, recruiting, the whole ball of wax. And these two teams right now are extremely young teams, inexperienced teams, and it shows in the way they handle the basketball and some decision making and so on. But as Billy Lang said, they're planting the seeds and they're going to grow and they'll get better with experience, and I think I see that in Howard's team already.
7 to shoot from long range shot to miss there from Bishop, and Brickus has control of the rock again for LaSalle. He settled them nicely in the half.
He really has, and it's interesting to watch. And, you know, he's only a freshman. I mean, he does have a flair. You know, that behind the back pass was really nice, but he doesn't overdo it.
And Margill had that stolen. Take away from Moore. He'll drive the basket. And gets fouled on the way up. Amir Moore, sophomore, will shoot 2. When we come back to Gola Arena in the A-10, LaSalle in control. Tom Gold, legend, a player, NIT championship, NCAA championship, a coach, NBA champion, but not the only big name to talk about today, Bob, right?
Yeah, Paul Arizin was a great player, and he went to LaSalle High School in Philly, and he went to Villanova, and we saw 3 years there because back in the day, you played on the freshman team. Philadelphia Warriors, and of course, if he was today, he would have been on 3 or 4 teams, 10-time All-Star. He's got 2 grandsons, one here on St. Joseph's team, and Gabe Arizin is also a sophomore guard at Richmond. So one of the big names in the Philadelphia sports basketball scene, not only in college, but in the NBA as well. Paul Arizin.
Number 5, Jack Clark. At the line for St. Joe's.
Great family tradition, no question. Free throws here. Ramir Moore, sophomore, scored 7.5 points a game last year, right here in Philly. Does not get the roll. And a lid on the basket for the Hawks in the second half. Only down by 6 at the break.
Moore's brother-in-law is Kyle Lowry.
I saw that. That's cool.
He would like to get him in his blood here and try to do something there.
Well, at 22 last year in a game against UConn. So has the potential for some offensive fireworks. Ariana playing at St. Joe's. Speaking of great basketball tradition in their family.
Moore hasn't done a lot in this game. He's a pretty good player too. And right there, I don't know if that's a foul. Looks like it. Taylor Funk. Take a look on the move. But look at how Funk is holding his left hand close to his body all through this time. He's hurting, man. There's something wrong with his wrist or his forearm or both. You know, we don't know what it is, but he certainly is not playing up to his standards in this game, and he looks very tentative to me. He's not a tentative player.
7 points today for him, 2 of 3 shooting, only 1-3 attempt to hit. Briggs can't convert this time on the contested 10-footer. Long play to rebound. And Moore company trying to get back in the game here for St. Joe's. Sal's largest lead has been 18 in this second half. Paul spins and scores. It's been quiet. 4 points on 2 of 11 shooting. But does have 6 rebounds and 6 assists today for the Hawks.
Yeah, and that's typical of him. I mean, his passing is his greatest skill. And when he gets in the weight room, he gets stronger. You know, and his shot will be better when he's stronger. Foul. You can see Mike Stevens, the official, putting his hands up and then down a little bit to say it was not just putting them straight up in the air.
Fouls on Jadrian Tracy for the Hawks, and that sends Sharif Kenny, the sophomore, to the free throw line, shooting 2.
Kimbrough's back. Better double team him or do something because, I mean, he has been dominant in the paint. You know, and you got to give LaSalle credit, too, in their scouting. I mean, they're a team that takes a ton of threes, and they're not doing that in this game. And the scouting report says take the ball to the basket, and we can do well by doing that, and they have been.
16th turnover of the game for the Hawks, but offensive side for LaSalle.
Little push off by Kenny right there.
Forrest was incredible in the first half, silent in the second. 17 first half points on 6 of 6 shooting. Hit all 3 of his 3-pointers.
Yeah, and made all of his free throws as well. They need something, that's for sure, on the offensive end. 12-point deficit, plenty of time. Get quality shots, and come to meet the ball. Jack Clark is sticking through.
LaSalle. Let's happen, Coach Wenzel. I know it's tough for you as a former head coach to watch this because it's a basic for ball handling.
No doubt about it. Billy Lang has got a headache, I'll tell you that, with those kind of plays.
Moore kicks out, almost with another miscue. Kenny to take away, trying to get to the rack, lost the handle. Who's on this Kimbrough? 22 points, a career best for Jared Kimbrough, averaging 3.1 points a game entering this one today. That is a stat turnaround for you. Bishop the drive, can't convert. Clark the rebound. Guess what? Another run out. Breaking himself up and away for his second dunk of the day. And LaSalle is up big again. Timeout, Billy Lang and St. Joe's. Back to 18 points.
Let's take a look here. Drive to the basket and the run out. Easy play right here, and I did not know that he could dunk at 5'10". Now here's the thing. Look at number 11. He's standing still. Now, as the ball comes to him, he should come to the ball. Instead, he does not, and an easy steal right there by Jack Clark. And LaSalle has done that 5 or 6 times in this game. And the basic thing of coming to meet the ball when there's pressure is not being done by St. Joseph's in this game.
14 LaSalle steals in this game, Bob. 14. Wow, they average 7.5 a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. That gentleman in your picture right there is John Griffin with the mask on, the assistant coach. His back is to you right now. That's him right there. He played at Bucknell, and he played in one of the best games ever in the NCAA tournament. At Bucknell, they upset Kansas. I did the game, and it was marvelous. And he was a fantastic player in that game as an outside shooter. And, of course, his dad, former coach at St. Joe's. And wonderful, wonderful day in the history of the NCAA basketball tournament. That young man was a part of it.
That is some fantastic Patriot League history for you.
Here we go.
You'd like to be part of a big comeback and turn around here today. Speaking of some history, it's been a rough ride for St. Joe's at 1-9 on the year. The long win in a rescheduled game or an ad game with Albany from the America East, replacing St. Louis from the A-10 because of their COVID issues. LaSalle's lost 3 straight. UMass, George Mason, and Davidson entering this one today. They have been lights out.
Come back in the game. Let's watch his left hand and see if he plays with some caution. So far,
a big Larry Bird fan. Yesterday saw Larry Bird jersey behind him. Got the same number, 33. He's going to need some Bird-like magic to make a comeback here today on the road at Goal Arena against LaSalle. LaSalle shooting 67% from the field in the second half and 60% for the game. And a big lead on St. Joe's here. Let's take a look, Bob, at this fuel to win performance of the game, brought to you by Gatorade. It's Jared Kimbrough.
Well, the 6'8" guy who's been on the bench most of the year as a sub, averaging 3 points a game, looks like an all A10 performer in this one. He has been everywhere, running the floor, playing solid defense, going to the boards, and smiling. He is happy today.
Reason to smile. You know, we spoke with actually Howard about him yesterday. A lot of our Zoom calls with these coaches, we go through players, get a quick line, quick bio. And he said, yeah, he's a glue guy for us, plays a good defender situationally. Didn't mention a 22-point bust out today for Jared Kimbrough.
Well, he hasn't seen it.
Wow.
And it has relegated Clifton Moore to the bench. And Clifton Moore is the guy who transferred here from Indiana. Highly recruited guy. And right here, nice take to the basket right there.
Ramir Moore for two. ISO. Gill had a great first half. Right this time, the lefty hits.
Yeah, he tried it right here. There's Clifton Moore, and he is the guy who's the normal center on this team. And because Spencer is playing so well, he hasn't played quite as many minutes as he usually does. But the two of them combined means good things in the future for LaSalle.
Kenny driving, Kimbrough stuffing, but a foul call, it looks like, on the drive by Sharif Kenny of LaSalle. Kimbrough still smiling, though, for good reason.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Game he's in.
Neptune, New Jersey.
Right there. It was a cross screen, right?
Usually when you hear a coach say he's a glue guy, it means, limited minutes, limited production. Not today. That's for sure for Jared Kimbrough. One more free throw here for Sharif Kenny. Going to elevate his status for the Zoom call for Coach Howard, right, Bob? Next time someone asks about Kimbrough. All right, 2 free throws for Kenny. Buck on the bounce from Hall, handles outside the arc, almost taken away by Gill again. Here's Hall. Missed for 3. Battle for the rebound. Tie up. Next ball.
That possession, St. Joseph's really moved the ball well, got it open through. Of course, they didn't make it, which is not, a sin by any stretch of the imagination. I think they also need to be taking the ball to the basket a little bit more on the dribble. And when LaSalle is this far ahead by 20 with 6 minutes to go, there's a tendency to let up a little bit, and it's just a natural human thing. And if you're St. Joseph, taking the ball to the basket, not just shooting threes would be advisable to kind of chip your way back into the game.
Where's this guy been? There's Jack Forrest for 3. A perfect first half. His first point of the second half. Beatty tiptoes the sideline, stays in bounds. Forrest has missed a shot today, Bob. 20 points and 7 shooting all 4 threes. So we got 2 stars.
We got Forrest on one side, we got Kimbrough on the other side. Free and easy right now if you're the Explorers.
It is flowing today, no doubt. Plus 20 here in this game. As Funk has been silent. The Stars of St. Joe's. He told us yesterday in the Zoom calls he launched at 3 and not close there. That the goal for St. Joe's in this one-win season, Bob, was to improve 1% per day in everything you do. And those are the ways in a struggling season. Free throws coming up here for Sharif Kenny. Things, right? To try to build back some good feelings to try to get to the point where you win some games.
Learn as you go.
Gotta learn. Talked about the 8-minute segments in practice and scrimmages they have for St. Joe's, trying to improve step by step. It's not easy. See some long looks from these Hawks in a tough year.
Well, they were 6-21 last year in Bill Lang's first year, and they're struggling this year. And they need to grow with the core that they have now. And these guys need to not make plays like that right there. I mean, that behind the back pass, there's no reason for that. Scrapping right here.
Forrest up over away for the dunk and a chance for a three-point play. His perfect day continues. It's a big bright spot for St. Joe's. He's got 22 on 8 of 8 shooting.
Scramble for the ball. St. Joseph's comes up with it, and a nice little pass by Taylor Funk. Forrest looks like by far the best athlete on this team in terms of strength and explosiveness. Underneath the basket, we have Amy Bonner, who's officiating with two of the very, very experienced guys in college basketball, Roger Ayers and Mike Stevens.
Perfect day for Forrest. Bond continues. He's got 23 points, which ties a career best he set at Columbia against Cornell. In his one season for the Lions in the Ivy League.
We are seeing so many Ivy League players transfer to big-time programs. I mean, there's one at Michigan. Every time you turn around, and of course, you know, with their rule of not allowing guys to redshirt and then play as graduate students. That's not permitted in the Ivy League. And of course, they're not playing this year. So we're seeing a bunch. Ohio State has one. I mean, there's a bunch of guys, Duke. So it's a very interesting phenomenon. And, you know, I think pretty soon the rule of the one-time transfer without having to sit out is going to come into play. And the transfer portal is a very, very active way of recruiting nowadays.
15 points for Anwar Gilbob. He has tied his career best set against Drexel. Along with 8 rebounds, he had a big game against the Dragons and the Colonials. So some career numbers being reached. Inbounds play. Look out, Forrest again hits. And the perfect day continues. 9 for 9 from the field, a career best. 25 now for Jack Forrest. Beating the drive. Can't hit, rattles out. A day to remember for a few players in this game. There's 2. Timeout, Ashley Howard.
Atlantic 10. When I think about them this year, I think about St. Louis. I think about Richmond. I think about VCU. I think about Davidson. And at the top of the league, very, very solid teams. And here we are. St. Bonaventure 6-1. They played fewer games because they had some pause because of COVID. UMass 5-3 overall. VCU, look at them, 10-3. And they were supposed to be down this year. Dayton, of course, Crutcher is the main man for them. Davidson, Fats Russell at Rhode Island. And of course, this year, Dave, the interesting thing about the league, as we look at the bottom, there's 14 teams in the league. And don't look at St. Louis as the bottom of the league. St. Louis is the best team in the league. But when you put up the standings, they haven't played a conference game yet. So their net is at 12, I think, also. So they're the best team in the league, I think. But here's the thing. The tournament was at Barclays, was scheduled to be at Barclays this year as well. It is not going to be at Barclays. It is going to be at one of the universities. And there has been talk about VCU. I believe that's where the women are playing their postseason tournament. There's been talk about St. Louis. Both of those venues, very, very nice places. And so it'll be interesting to see what the conference decides as we go forward here and when they make that decision.
The 10 championship will be played March 10th to the 14th. A review announced in the near future.
And it will be on CBS. Last year I was scheduled to do the Atlantic 10 semifinals, and I'm on my way flying from Jacksonville, and the producer calls and said, hey, we got bad news because you're going to have to sit way up high. We don't want the players listening to the announcers. I said, okay, great. I landed at LaGuardia, I get a text, bad news, forget it, turn around and go home.
First time since 2004, the full championship will be contested on the campus site in Dayton. The tremendous arena, UD Arena, hosting the A-10 championship for a long time. New happenings in the Atlantic 10 this year.
I do have very fond memories of when I was coaching the Atlantic 10, when Rutgers was in the Atlantic 10. We won the championship, and it was played on our home floor. The final only was played on the home floor.
Kimbrough with a follow and 2 more, continuing his great day. Whose idea was that? That year, your first year Rutgers, right?
It was, yes indeed.
It's the highest rated seed most of the championship game for a big crowd. It worked out pretty well at the rack for you. Great memory.
The rest of the tournament was held at the Palestra, of course, right here in Philadelphia.
More drive, but can't get the roll. Jack Clark, defensive glass for LaSalle. Beatty kicks for Ray, made a nice catch in the corner to keep the possession alive for the Explorers.
Ray's had a good game in this game too. I mean, he's made some plays, catching the ball on a pass. He gets it, picks it up, and scores. And he's done some good stuff.
Jack Clark with 3 rebounds out. Rebound for Forrest. 25 points, 9 of 9 shooting for Forrest today. There's Hall. There's a 20.
Now, Hall's shot looks good. His mechanics look good. But, he's been short on some, and he isn't quite into it, with the intensity that he needs to carry in the big time college basketball arena. But he will. He's going to be good. Speaking of good, how about Mr. Kimbrough? Drive to the hoop. Offensive board. 86-71.
His message of love, peace, and vision, equality, has profoundly affected our lives. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 92 today. January 18, 1929. Special day to be sure. The Hawks Explorers playing the first of 2 games in back-to-back years on MLK Day. Usually the A-10 plays Wednesday and Saturday, so it is indeed a special occurrence. We heard some really interesting perspective from LaSalle players Scott Spencer and Clifton Moore earlier on what MLK Day means to them. Some signage, shirts today, and masks being worn by players and coaches from both sides. Hashtag equality, great message. Explorers have been great on the court, up 15 here. And trying to finish off a win against one of their Philly rivals. More corner, 3 back iron miss, and the rebound for Beatty.
Well, the LaSalle Explorers are going to go to 3-4 and 6-8 overall. Plenty of roads to hoe in front of them against the top teams in the Atlantic 10. And there are going to be plenty of good games, but their depth has been impressive. And I think Ashley Howard's way of approaching the season has been good for them. Players have developed, and it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to watch to see what happens to them in the next couple of games.
Long-range three. Couple of life here with under 2 to go. And now a 12-point game for Funk. And a turnover. It's because David Beatty's out of bounds.
Yeah, stepped out of bounds. There's a lot of lines over there. And that is not going to make his coach happy.
Not at all. Just wants to finish the game.
What was a 24-point lead is all of a sudden dwindled with a 1:43 to go.
August lead at 21 with 5:47 to go. A take forward 2 for Hall. Nice reverse move for the freshman from St. Joe's.
That's hard to believe. I can't believe I'm watching right now. I mean, LaSalle, the game's not over. I mean, you got to keep playing. I mean, their defense, I mean, they played terrific, aggressive defense, forcing a ton of turnovers, and then in the last minute, 8-0, and they're just kind of not offering any resistance whatsoever.
Again, there's Hall for 2 more, and all of a sudden it's 8 here with a minute to go in the second half. Timeout, Ashley Howard and LaSalle, and Billy Lang's Hawks show some life late here today at Gola Arena.
Well, you got to admire it. I mean, St. Joseph's, they never die. The Hawk never dies is one of their sayings. And
never dies.
They just keep on keeping on. And LaSalle's fallen asleep defensively, and they're just driving it and driving it and driving it. Right here, Hall, I mean, he dribbles through the entire team and gets an easy layup. I mean, he goes from one end of the floor to the other end of the floor. That's almost 94 feet right there.
How about the line for Hall here, Coach? 11 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds.
Nice double-double. I like those kind of double-doubles.
Yeah.
You know, that's really, really nice. The best thing is when you get a triple-double, you know, with points, rebounds, and assists. That is a rarity. It's happened a bunch of times this year in college basketball.
Pressure. Here's Brickus handling the freshman. Lost it, but then the whistle and a foul call with 56.7 to go in the second half.
Well, when you're behind in a situation like this, the clock is your enemy, not the opponent. But with that much time left, a foul was probably not what Billy Lang wanted. Down the stretch here in Wilby. Interested to see whether Brickus makes his free throws. Coming into this game, he was 8 for 10 on the year. And that's a brick.
First free throw attempt of the game for the freshman out of Coatesville, Pennsylvania, Jameer Brickus. Team's leader in steals. Had double figures first 3 games of his LaSalle career, 5 times overall on the season. But as anyone knows, freshman year can be uneven at times.
Yeah, but scoring is not his thing.
Yeah.
Handling the basketball and keeping them in their stuff is his thing, and he does a good job of that.
Here's Funk. Elbow, spins. That looks like Larry Bird did it a little bit. Got 2 more for St. Joe's, down to 7. And there's the foul in the backcourt. You got to give the Hawks credit here, Bob.
No doubt about it. I mean, they just kind of stayed with it, and kept driving the ball to the basket with some success. And, of course, now it becomes foul and hope they miss time.
Taylor Funk talking to us yesterday about that, getting 1% better. Another free throw coming up here for Sharif Kenny. He said to us, sometimes it depends on how you react to bad situations. And there have been plenty of those in this game for St. Joe's. And I'll say they have reacted pretty well, especially latter stages, second half. Enough time to come back, that's the question. Probably not. It's out of bounds. It sticks with St. Joe's here. Good effort for Moore.
Well, they go for a 3 right there, which is understandable. That was the Villanova play where the point guard drives and throws it backwards to the guy who inbounded. But they've been having so much success about driving it. There's still 33 seconds.
First they stay perfect. Not this time. His first miss of the day. Kept it alive for Funk. Keeps it in bounds to Bishop. Force back for Funk for three. You bet. It's another one to make it a 5-point game.
22 seconds left. Got a foul here.
Riquez is bumped by Moore. There's the foul. 21.6 to go in regulation. It's a 5-point game with a big Hawk run to make things interesting.
Missed free throws. Lack of defense at the other end for Coach Howard's group. They had a bunch of opportunities here, and finally they make the three-point shot. They missed two previous to that, but the ball stayed at that end.
17 for Funk. 3 threes. Big free throw converted from Riquez.
Nobody on the free throw line right now. The Salle jerseys should all be back deep. Everybody rebound. If you're St. Joe's, you shoot it, you crash the boards with 4 guys, you get a foul that way if you have to.
Freshman hits a couple. Funk for 3. That's center ball.
And that would have been way out there. When you're ahead, can you handle the ball? Do you have a good offense against the press set up?
The effort has been outstanding for Hall and company today.
He can pass it, there's no doubt about that. He's going to be a good one for St. Joseph's. He really has a feel for the game.
Final 10 seconds. A reach from Forrest, a whistle, and this one is going to end. Long-time Philly area college rivalry. The latest chapter goes to LaSalle, Bob, but St. Joe's made this interesting. Kimbrough, a huge game with 24 points.
Yeah, he was great in this game, and Riquez was solid as a point guard distributor. Ashley Howard has got to be pleased with the win, but not happy with how they played at the end. This should have been a 20-point game.
NFL Monday QB is coming up next here on CBS Sports Network after the break. 90-83 our final here today. Kimbrough with 24 points on 12 of 13 shooting. And Warren Gill had 15 points. Forced a great game for Joe's. 25 points. Hall had 11 and 11, a double-double, and Funk 17 points as well. But in the end, it is LaSalle with a big win now for Bob Wenzel and the entire crew. It's Dave Ryan saying so long from Gola Arena in Philly. 7-point win for LaSalle over St. Joe's. It's been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.